everyone, welcome back to my channel. We are almost at 100 subscribers, which honestly, it doesn't sound like a lot, but it means a ton to me. I never thought I'd even get 50. So it's pretty exciting. I just wanted to say thank you to every single one of you that's invested in this channel and has taken the time to watch my videos. And I'm looking forward to all that's to come. But today I want to talk about the new movie, Violent Night. This movie is directed by Tommy Wirkola, and his most notable films are Hansel and Gretel, Witch Hunters, and What Happened to Monday. The synopsis is as follows. An elite team of mercenaries breaks into a family compound on Christmas Eve, taking everyone hostage inside. However, they aren't prepared for a surprise combatant. Santa Claus is on the grounds, and he's about to show why this Nick is no saint. So without further ado, let's get into the 6 things that make a movie great. 1. The plot. The plot of this movie was really simple, but it had some nice subplot details that kind of made it progress decently. For example, the movie opens with the character of Jason Lightstone being picked up by his estranged wife, Linda, and their daughter, True. They are on their way to the Lightstone Christmas family reunion, but it's pretty clear that there's a lot of friction in their relationship that has happened off screen. They get to the Lightstone compound and you find out that the Lightstones are this extremely wealthy family with the largest estate compound in the US, headed up by Gertrude Longstone, whose children seem to be more interested in her money than they are in the actual family. But in the process of getting together, someone bursts into their facility, starts shooting people, and takes all of them hostage. He's there for the money and he's willing to kill people in order to get it. While all this is going on, Santa happens to be delivering presents upstairs and gets caught in the middle of everything. And while initially not wanting to get involved, he finds himself at the center of all of this and starts going ham. The plot in and of itself was okay, but if you take away some of the acting performances and some of the funnier scripted moments, it really kind of plays out like a cheap action thriller movie. You feel a decent amount of closure at the end of the film, so at least it feels like a complete idea. So for me, plot gets a 50-50. 2 is family friendliness. This movie is not family friendly at all. There is a very generous amount of profanity in this movie. There's extreme violence, including a lot of blood and gore, and there's a couple sexual comments here and there. The underlying tone of the movie itself is actually kind of positive, but it's not even close to making this movie family friendly in the least. So family friendliness gets a thumbs down. 3 is acting and script. Beverly D'Angelo was really great as Gertrude Lightstone. David Harbour, I think, played a great Santa Claus, but I felt like this performance was a little bit like how Hellboy was for him. I thought he was really good in the role, but I think the movie didn't play to his strengths. It's the same thing in this movie. David Harbour is an excellent Santa Claus for this dark, satirical version of it. The script of this movie was so weird. It knew exactly how to be funny, because when you see the character interactions between the family members when they're arriving at this Christmas reunion, it is so funny. And it was easily the funniest part about the movie. That only lasts for about 15 to 20 minutes. After that, I didn't find myself laughing much at all. In fact, a lot of the lines were really cheesy and dumb, and it seemed like they tried to write the villains as way more cartoonish than needed to be, and it didn't do any favors for this movie. I really wish they would have focused on having humor throughout the film, even amidst the violence, instead of just having it all at the beginning and then having the rest be a bunch of cheesy lines with just plethora of blood and guts everywhere. So for me, acting and script get a 50-50. 4 is character development. There is some halfway decent character development in this movie. Most of it comes with the character of Santa Claus himself, and a lot of it is because of his interactions with True. Most of their communication is through this walkie-talkie that she has, but they start to develop this friendship and really pour into each other's lives and help each other remember who they are or who they want to be, and it's a pretty nice dynamic that this movie has. They try to add some weird character arc with the character of Scrooge about how he has emotional damage as a kid from Santa Claus, and it just didn't work for me. That kind of played into the whole cartoonish villain thing, and I have never thought that that's a good idea. And I think that the character development between Santa Claus and True, and the character development between Jason and his wife Linda, and trying to figure out their relationship and just Christmas in general, it kind of all felt kind of clumsily mixed together. You do find out little bits and pieces about the different family members, and that's what makes it so funny in the first place, but they didn't focus on it enough, and it made pretty much all the characters seem really shallow at the end of the day. So I have to give character development a 50-50. 5 is visuals and CGI. There was something in the trailer for this movie that said it was related to Nobody and Bullet Train, So I was like, oh man, I really liked some of the sequences in those movies. Maybe there'll be something like that in this one. Meh, kind of. The fight scenes are pretty entertaining at times, albeit pretty disturbing and gory. But during the fight scenes, I oftentimes found myself asking, why don't the men with guns use their guns? And the answer is plot armor. Because this movie would be over extremely quickly if the trained men with guns actually used their guns. So my willing suspense of disbelief was challenged quite a bit because of that, because it's pretty obvious in certain sequences when they choose not to use their guns, they can't seem to get their guns raised in time. It's just cheese, man. It's cheese. So for me, visuals and CGI, I get a 50-50. And 6 is rewatchability. This movie is just under 2 hours long, and it feels a bit lengthy. I thought the movie had good pacing to start, and then some action starts happening, and then there is this lull in the film that just takes forever to resolve. And as the audience, you're just left kind of bored. There's no funny lines happening, there's no action happening, and you kind of just are like, why am I here? Because that's what I came to see. And honestly, when I came out of the movie, I kind of found myself comparing it to a Hallmark movie, but also being disappointed in myself because I would rather watch those cheesy Hallmark movies than watch this movie again. And I don't know if that's a personal problem or if that's a reflection of the quality of this movie. But regardless of that, I have to give rewatchability a thumbs down. With all these areas considered, I have to give Violent Night a 5.5 out of 10. This movie started off strong with a halfway decent plot and some really clever and hilarious lines of dialogue. But that stopped after the first 20 minutes of the movie. What followed then was a whole lot of blood and gore, cheesy lines, bad acting performances, and a neglected subplot of the meaning of Christmas and belief in Santa. I went into it not expecting much and just kind of wanting to have a good time, and I still came away a little disappointed, but I laughed a couple times. So I guess if you're looking for a hyper-violent movie that you can just turn your brain off to while not expecting really funny dialogue at all, you might enjoy Violent Night, but I wouldn't go see it in theaters. Thank you so much for watching. If you've seen Violent Night, please let me know what you thought about it in the comments below. As always, I appreciate your love and support, and I'll catch you guys and gals in the next one. No, Satan.